Unmuted. Hello, everybody. Is that working? Are we working? Are we working? It should all be working. Thank you, everybody, for coming back. Richard eventually turned up. He's here now. He had a little plumbing emergency yesterday, so that's why Richard didn't quite make it here. But he's here now. We're going to go through it tonight. So, Richard, would you like to say hello to everybody?
Hello to everybody. No, seriously, peace and respect to you all. And thanks for dropping by now or in the future if you might watch this. Someone watches this later.
Can you move your camera up ever so slightly, Richard? It's chopping off the top of your head.
Yeah, I guess it is. This is going to be, look away because it'll make you dizzy.
That's better. It's better. We'll not worry about it. No, we're not muted. No, not muted. Why is Dave saying we're muted? I don't know why. Are we muted?
It could be just Dave. Ask for a second opinion.
Yeah. Dave's an asshole, so that's true.
or a loving brother that knows that you'll still love him after he does this.
Yeah, he's sticking his tongue out as he likes to do. So, everybody, thank you very much for coming back tonight. And we'll just jump straight into it. So, I know Richard has a show later on, but as the show progresses, if people do want to get involved, we may have a small after party afterwards. We have Richard for about an hour or so before his show. So shout out to everyone. Shout out to Sam and Lawyers Corner. And we've John Rapp as well. And Dave's there, but ignoring Dave. But thank you, everybody, for coming back tonight. So let me see if I can do this. Boop. Did that work? And for Richard, that should work.
It changed something. Now I have the screen. Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. Richard, I think we were 110.
I believe so. Yeah.
Ah, right. Well, I will hand it over to you while I double check everything hasn't broken, and with your beautiful voice, over to you, Richard.
Oh, yes, it's so beautiful. It's so freaking American and plain and not very lovable. Sorry about that, everybody. So Revelation 1:10. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet. I lost my eyeballs. Hold on. Oh, that is the end of 10. Okay. So let's just talk about that for a minute. I think the word spirit here is referring to a mental situation. So a situation of prayer.
I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, feeling he was in the zone. He was having the motions.
Right. Something like that. And the Lord's day here is actually a term, and day should probably be capitalized because that's a pat phrase in the Bible that means end times. That's what the Lord's day means.
Is that a confirmed? Can we get a citation for that?
Or 30 of them. If you like, it's no problem. It's common knowledge to the Christian, although they're going to typically ignore this being there and say it means something else.
Well, if there's anyone in the chat that feels like doing a Google search, does the Lord's Day in the Bible refer to the end times?
Also called the Great Day of the Lord or the Lord's Day, or oftentimes it's just in that day. But speaking to the 7-year term as a day. And that's super common. And heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet. I think it's very interesting that it doesn't matter about your quality of speaker. If there's enough atmosphere between the sending unit and the ear hearing it, our atmosphere makes for a tinny or metallic kind of sound like a trumpet. So that's just a natural effect of our atmosphere. You can hear it in loud stereo
I'm lost in what you mean. Like, have you? You say that the atmosphere has just that noise. Is that the background noise that the?
No. It has that effect on noise. Think about a train and the Doppler effect.
Yeah, I know of the Doppler effect.
Well, when the train is near you, it has a different quality that when it's further away. That quality change is what I'm talking about. The tinniness of the quality is caused by our atmosphere. It's just a natural function. It's how we perceive sound in our atmosphere.
I thought the Doppler effect was due to the distance and the stretching effect, but not the atmosphere.
No. That's not what I mean. No. Oh, gosh. Are you no fan of music at all? Okay, so what I'm saying is not the tone change, which is caused by the stretching of the waves.
I
and the
understand
distance
what you
through the
mean. Yes, if you
atmosphere.
took half the air out of the room and put a speaker in the corner and the room was then filled with normal amounts of air, it would sound better in the normal amount of air than it would with half the amount of air molecules, purely because of the actual physical nature of how sound travels.
Yes, something like that. In fact, if you were to put enough pressure in that sealed room, apparently, because you can vacuum it, you can also add air to it. If you were to highly pressurize the room and a human could be in it, which it would take a lot of air being in between you and the speaker, it would gain a tinny quality that it doesn't normally have. A metallic kind of sound to it. Like trumpet versus piano, something like that.
Well, I've never experienced it, but I would look into it.
Well, a trumpet can hit a note and a piano can hit a note, exactly the same note. It sounds different to your ear.
Different instruments, different ways of producing it.
Right. That's why we like brass for the effect. The trumpet-like sound is different from a string sound. It would be exactly the same tone, but it still has a different quality to it.
I'm saying this and I'm asking this because I'm picturing, right, in my head, God in the atmosphere talking to the people on earth.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's what you're trying to put across, right? Yeah.
Sure.
And the fact of his voice coming through our atmosphere gives it a metallic noise.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking you're trying to say.
So that's why the angels are always speaking as a trumpet. Because if no matter how good the quality of the speakers are on the sides or in the belly of heaven, making announcements, and they're soon going to start making announcements in the book of Revelation as quote unquote prayers to God, then
Okay.
it will have this metallic quality.
And would you also agree that, looking at it from my point of view then, that a trumpet is one of the loudest instruments that they would have had at the time?
Yes.
The idea of booming and power and loudness, and we can associate that with a strong being, someone who is, I wouldn't say that God's generally thought of being a larger person, but he is bellowing. He is, whoa, there's that. Using the trumpet is to just put across how strong and powerful that the voice is, because he's God. Nothing to do with him floating in the atmosphere.
Can I get away with turning off my headset without you having an echo from your own voice? Would you please say something, Robbie?
Howdy.
Are you getting an echo at all?
I didn't, and if the audience does,
okay. So I want my friend. I have a friend sitting beside me today, which is unusual, and I'd like for him to be able to hear the other side of the conversation, if that's okay.
Perfect. No, definitely. Yes, I was hoping he would get involved. Yeah, so looking at it from the other side, and I'll repeat for the sake of your friend, the trumpet, the great voice, the loudness of it, being that it is the loudest instrument that they would have available at the time. You can have them big long horns at the top of cities and they let people know miles away that, there's a war coming or whatever happens. But it's the strong, powerful strength and loudness that comes with the trumpet. Because as I said, Jesus isn't, or God isn't seen as a giant, but his voice is bellowing. He's very strong. So it makes a connection that way, rather than in the atmosphere, talking through the atmosphere sounds a bit tinny.
You have a very classic Christian view. That's not a compliment.
I wasn't expecting it to be. I don't like being referred to as a Christian, but
Well, no, you were trained that way. It's not your fault.
I wasn't trained at all. Well, that's also a skeptic's point of view. You can say trumpet equals loud and powerful. God equals loud and powerful. That's,
fair enough.
That may be a Christian view, but it makes sense.
I think if you're going to use a public address system, you have no choice but to make it loud. So it would gain that metallic quality in our atmosphere. Anyway, that's enough on that, isn't it?
Too much on that one sentence. Okay, moving on.
Okay. 11, saying, I am Alpha Omega, first and last. What you see, write in a book and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia. onto Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamos, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea. That's the end of that. Okay, so
I think we're further ahead than this.
No, we haven't done this for real.
Okay.
If someone says otherwise, then I'll just eat crow on that. We didn't even start one of the letters, did we?
I think we
because
did.
It certainly wasn't at the end of the last show that I have copied to my channel.
I don't know. There's a thing about 7 candlesticks and a man walking out of them. I'm pretty sure we've seen that.
We have seen that part. We have spoken about the candlesticks. We are repeating ourselves. You're right.
1 second, people. This is why we had half an hour, and I sat and talked to Richard's friend for half an hour rather than checking where we were. So that's really good.
Well, 10 was where we ended on the last one that I have copied to my channel. But that could be my mistake, my fault. I didn't copy one.
Hey, we're on Revelations 2. Yeah, we're Revelations 2, chapter 8.
Let's go there.
There we are. That's exactly where we are right there. So we've only wasted a wee bit of time, but everybody gets to hear us talk, so that's the best bit, like, you know.
Yeah, American women would think you have a great voice.
Most of them do.
They think I have a pretty boring voice, actually.
So, Revelations 2, chapter 8, Richard.
Sure. Why not? Actually, pick up where we should have in the first place. And unto the angel of the church of Smyrna write, these things saith the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know, I'm going to stop right there. This first and last, and then this description, was dead and is alive.
We did fight over that last week.
And we talked about this a little bit before, I think.
Yes.
Talking about a character in their time frames of existence and their states of existence.
Yes.
So here's another one of those. If I say someone was dead and is alive, and they're doing positive things, I have no choice. I can't say the Father. I have to say Jesus. If that makes sense.
No, that's why I did this.
Was dead and is alive.
That's a reference to Jesus in the
resurrected.
Okay, you sound just like a very standard Christian. That's a very standard.
That is
Christian
really
view.
standard, yeah. Sure. I know thy works, thy tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. I'm so certain we did this. I'm the one that says that we're past this. Okay, so the synagogue of Satan, that is to say people who claim to be traditional believers, because the word Jew right here means believing in the correct God or not. That's why there's only 2 terms, Jew and Gentile. So to say Jew here means believing in the right God, but then they are the synagogue of Satan. That is to say they speak lies about God and they speak lies about Satan. So this could include modern churches today, even Christian sect, you name it. And I don't normally go around calling Christians Satanists and Jews Satanists, but technically on some points they speak of, they are. For instance, all I have to say is satanic views are views against humanity. And that just seems evidently true in the text. And then I'll say something like, then all I have to do is quote a Christian, say something like, gays are going to hell. Well, that's a satanic idea. It's persecuting of people that are children of God in some way that person can't justify and can't justify in the Bible. I know there's arguments for that.
No, I can understand where you're coming from. So you would say, you're basically saying that some of the mainstream Christians would claim, as they claim to be Christians, do have parts of their belief system that you disagree with because it is satanic, as in the persecution of LGBT.
It's obviously evil to be persecuting human beings who are children of God.
Yes.
I mean, that's just given. I mean, if you see a person hurting themselves and you don't help them, then you're at fault, you know? But when you see a person who's not hurting themselves, who are happy with their lives, they're well adjusted, they have good friends, etc., then obviously they're doing everything right already.
You can still be an asshole and have good friends. I'm evidence of that.
Well, that's because your friends are the same. By the way, I count myself one of your friends, just to be fair.
As I would hope so. As I would hope so. So, moving on then, right? We've slammed that down.
But I have a few things against thee, because thou hast there them that hold to the doctrine of Balaam. The word Balaam here just means powerful king, or god, or demigod, something like that. Who taught Balak. That's another word. Balak is someone. Let me think. You can double check me on these definitions.
Who are you?
Balak means worshiper of a god, but that god is into physicality and worldliness, material wealth. So Balak means a worshiper of someone who is of material wealth.
Richard, I think we're in chapter 11 here. I moved the page up.
You moved it.
Well, I'd like the audience to see what we're
like
reading.
3 verses there, didn't I?
You just skipped 3 verses. Yeah, well, we're doing that already tonight. We forgot some, then you skip some. We're balancing out.
Oh, yeah, it works out great.
This is why we come to this show, everybody. It's nothing to do with this or
okay,
Richard.
After the word Satan there, starting 10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. You will suffer, like it's declarative there. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. That's you, a group. That's a plural. Mm-hmm. That you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. That's really specific. 10 days of tribulation. Be thou faithful unto death. And we'll have to talk about that word death, and I will give you a crown of life. So this is way too specific with the 10 days of tribulation, that it can't be the great tribulation, but has to be some smaller, hard part of life.
What do you mean by the Great Tribulation?
The Great Tribulation refers to the great day of the Lord, refers to end times.
Oh, end time, yeah. I was just clarifying that, just to make sure.
Yeah.
So this particular type of torture is separate from the other type of torture.
Being only 10 days long, yeah.
Yeah, before the eternity of torture.
So very limited, yeah. Well, not a sentencing to hell, exactly, just a really hard time in life during quote-unquote tribulation, not the Great Tribulation.
Now, this is something, if I can, I'm trying, now this is going back a few years, or going back over the years that I've known you. Did you say, or was there one of the stories that you told me of, now I may be wrong in the characters, okay? So
don't worry so much.
The story wrong, of someone being sent to a prison on one of these ships, or going to some sort of a prison. I remember you telling me a story of
the fallen, that is Azazel and his crew, or Azazel and his crew, are awaiting the completion. They've been sentenced, but the sentencing hasn't been carried out.
But they're in prison.
But they're in prison in God's house, yeah.
Right. So I don't know if you can do a real quick bit for the people who don't know the story that we're talking about, but would that be the same prison? Is this a reference to the same sort of interpretation? Are you thinking this is the same prison? Is the story
I am not thinking it's the same prison. To do a quick synopsis, the fallen, or chapter 6 of the book of Genesis, described in great depth in the book of Enoch. The sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and took them wives, which each they chose. It was their choice to do it or not. Not that they chose their wives. Of course they did that. Were given no forgiveness because they were fully informed. They've been imprisoned. They've been sentenced. And in the book of Revelation says when the punishment is carried out.
No, it's a different prison. I'm just trying to make a point. For
right.
You, it's a different prison.
Right. I think there's talking about spiritual imprisonment. That it's talking about a 10-day period where one will be given a crown if he stays faithful unto death.
Right. So this is your last 10 days. It's basically giving them last 10 days to figure their shit out and come over to the good side. If you survive through it, we'll give you a crown of life and you can come and join us. Because crown of life, I'm assuming through your belief system, is that immortality that you get with getting to keep your
immortality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like being guaranteed in the book of life. Can't be stricken. something like that. Okay, but we have to talk about the word death right here, because there's two usages of the word death in the Bible, which I think is evident if you know even little things about Christianity. There's the expression, the old man is dead, which means I'm not the same person I used to be. And people say this once they become whatever Christian religious sect. They say, I'm a different person. The old man is dead. That's the kind of death being referred to here. It's not talking about physical death at all. It's talking about a change in belief system or repentance.
And you know that from the context.
Yes.
You're not just pulling it out of the air like we're talking Adam and Eve, and it's not a physical death, and they just make it.
I'm only pointing it out. I think once someone reads this with that mindset, they're going to see it's evidently
I'm
true.
just trying to make a reference point, because most people get annoyed at people whenever they say that the Bible says that Adam will die if he eats off the tree, and then he doesn't. So they say, "Oh, it's a spiritual death." But you're deferring that.
He absolutely does die right away.
Physically.
Because if you know the difference between good and evil, you couldn't maintain lies.
I'm not going to tangent on that. I was just trying to bring it up to say, to give you more credit. You're taking your opinion from the whole context of it. That's how you know it is. You're not just going, I disagree with that, and pulling something out. The context of the scripture that we're reading, you're getting a change in personality, a change in belief system.
And another easy example is Jesus is born out of the group the dead. Well, he's not born dead. That doesn't make any sense. He wasn't dead before he was born. That doesn't make any sense either. I mean, there's gestation of 9 months. You're definitely alive before you're born. And the word born there means to be to have a big change.
I could make an argument against that from a Christian point of view, but go on ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, well,
that's what this show's for, man.
You said you're not alive before you're dead. Or you say you have to be alive before you're dead. Right?
That makes sense, unless you'd never existed.
From a Christian point of view, or from a Buddhist point of view, or your spirit, your energy, your soul existed before your physical body existed.
That's an interesting definition of alive.
I'm just saying that the reason I say this is my brain jumped in a line, and when people say to me, what's death like? From an atheistic point of view, I can say to you that it's the same as what it was before you were dead. Or before you were born. Sorry.
It's nothing at all. It's what rocks dream of.
Exactly. I'm just saying, from that point of view, you can say being... now, you take that and you change it to Christian. A Christian can say that being a spiritual nature. I'm just saying there's an argument that I could make. I'm not going to do that, because that's not this show.
You already did. You already did, but we don't have to carry on with it.
No, but you get the point I'm making.
Oh, I do. I totally see that. Yeah, they're going to have a hard time justifying that from the Bible. I think that's going to be theology or church doctrine or something like that.
And everybody has a hard time justifying anything from the Bible. But go on ahead. Let's justify some stuff from the Bible. What chapter 12?
And to the angel in the church in Pergamos write, these things saith he which hath the sharp sword with two edges, or sharp two-edged sword.
Now, did you not say in the last episode that that's a curse?
It's a what?
A curse. Someone saying something with a two-edged sword is to give you a curse word to shout.
Who said that?
To insult you, like I'd fuck you off. If I'm curse word, fucking you off, to insult you, saying something with a two-edged sword.
Oh, no, that's with a split tongue, not a two-edged sword. That's a different expression from actually the same part of the world. But anyway, the word sword in the Hebrew is not something that you use in battle necessarily to stab with or slice with. The word sword is the same as the word spear, is the same as the word arrow, is the same as the word knife, is the same as the word, well, several words that mean those kinds of weapons. And it's the idea of separating what is good from what is bad. That's the idea. Separating meat from bone, because we don't eat bone. So the idea of a sword is that which separates what is good from what is bad, i.e. definition and truth. This is exactly the reason, and this is evident throughout the Bible in an overview. The reason that there's websites that you can use to reference the Bible called eSword and My Sword is because they understand sword means truth in the Bible, except where Christians want to be persecuting and say, no, they meant kill a guy. In which case they're just cherry picking the text and not taking an overview that works for all of it. So to say the sharp two-edged sword that proceeds from the mouth is to say the spoken word of truth that separates the good from the bad.
Okay, it didn't mention mouth, but okay, I get what you're saying.
Okay. So that's why he has a sharp two-edged sword. And again, this is speaking of the first vision that John has, him surrounded by the 7 candlesticks, who has the 7 stars in his right hand.
Are you agreeing they're visions? Are you agreeing that they're they're visions and he's not actually somewhere else? Are you on our side now?
I am saying it is written as if a vision. But
I'm just poking fun at you. I'm just poking fun at you.
No. I also always maintain that this is a recollection of an end of an earth, which means living beings saw it.
Not John, though.
John is having a vision, apparently.
Okay.
I mean, at one point in the book of Revelation, one of the main characters in a scene simply walks out of the scene. Like, you could do that. Like, you could walk out of reality and come talk to John. And there's a part that's like that, too. You need to get that?
Oh, no. It's an email. It's probably, I've been waiting on a form coming to fill out for the child's fucking birthday party, but they're obviously closed now, so
okay.
I can send it tomorrow. Right.
Just for my own brain, what time of day is it where you are?
Probably it's 11:30.
11:30. Okay. That helps me some, maybe.
I'm good, man. I've been off work for 10 days. I'm fucking, the situation I'm doing at the minute. I keep testing fucking positive for fucking COVID. I have very little symptoms. By 10 days, supposedly now, the government lady rang me today and I was talking to her and she says, after 10 days, you don't have to isolate anymore. You're not contagious. You're just testing positive. So I can go back to start earning fucking money again. But as the bot's putting in the chat there, if anyone's got a few pound for PayPal or whatever, that'd be fucking great. Like, because I'm supposed to be I'm getting less than a fucking, anything can help. Anything would be a great help. Like, so Richard, back to the end times.
we could ask Christians to directly tithe to you. 5 of them that did that, you'd be set. Serious.
Be nice.
If they tithe to you instead of a church, you'd be set. I just realized I'd skipped a line. 11. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. So here we have the term second death.
That's also a repeat of something that we definitely did read earlier before. Now, this is new, but he that hath an ear, let him hear. So that's making it definite.
Yes, that part's repeated at the end of every letter. That's right. And what does that mean?
Yeah, so you really need to make sure that you can interpret what I'm saying and not just listen. It's like a modern way of saying, don't listen to me, actually hear what I'm saying.
Right. It's like an ancient way of saying that modern thing, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so it's not just casual hearing. The idea of hearing here involves actual understanding. Now, according to the Bible, if you want to actually understand, you'd have to pray to God to get that understanding. You're not going to understand any of it casually. Yes. So that's consistent within itself. To say they will not be hurt of the second death. Christians assume that the second death is the death of the spirit or damnation to hell.
Yeah.
This makes no sense here. That would make no sense here, and it uses the phrase second death.
No. Makes perfect sense. He that hath an ear, and let him hear what the Spirit says unto the church. Right. So if you actually listen, take this on board and listen to me and actually, do something about it. If you overcome it, then you won't be destroyed by your second death. You will be saved.
Right. So except second death to the Christian means damnation to hell.
It makes sense here. It's like, listen to what I'm saying. You're basically fucked. If you don't sort yourself, then you're going, But if you do sort yourself, that's what it's saying. If you do sort yourself, you can skip the second death. You overcome it. You won't be hurt by it.
Or it doesn't say you get to skip it. It says you won't be hurt by it.
Well, that's why I changed what I said, because I said it and then I looked over and then rephrased it. Yeah, it says you'll not be hurt by your second death.
Right, but second death is damnation to hell. How are you going to be not hurt by damnation to hell? It doesn't make any sense.
The way I read that is if someone hears what I'm saying and changes their ways, they won't go to hell. That's
right.
how I read that.
Right, but that means that they won't even suffer it at all.
Yeah,
if
they'll
second
overcome
death
it.
means hell. Yeah, but it would mean they don't go there. It doesn't mean they're not hurt by it. That would be a different.
I think we're being semantical.
Well, it is very semantical, but it has to be.
Well, my point is that I read that line, that if you listen to me and you actually change your ways, then you will overcome the problems I have with you and you won't go to hell.
Okay.
That's how I would read that.
I can understand that. The word him right here in him here and he, as in he that hath an ear, this he and him are both actually the same word, which means a singular individual, not a group.
Are you sure? Because I think we fought over this
sure.
earlier in the chat, earlier in the episodes about something very similar and you saying the opposite.
What?
That when they're talking about at the end of the last letter, when they mention it's not just one person, it's a group. So it's definitely not a group.
It's definitely not a group. It's definitely a singular individual.
Right.
The word they is a universal they. Like if you don't know, it doesn't say anything that means group in the definition of him.
Again, it just comes down to my reading of this. As I see it, it says he that hath an ear. I don't think it means you, that person there that has an ear. I take it as anybody who can have an ear. He.
Okay, in the modern English, you can definitely read it that way, but it doesn't work in the definitions.
Okay, at least we understand why each other knows where we're coming from.
See, that's the problem of translation and reading from the King James, and the new translations are no better because they're just basically the King James ideas in more modern terms.
We could fight over the problems with the King James if you really want to talk about the original.
One of the problems with the King James is the presupposition that everyone gets these gigantic promises, like it just said you can't be stricken from the book of life. You are guaranteed the crown of life. Well, there's only one person promised that in the text. Everyone else is, well, it's subject to their actions and their beliefs.
This is the King James version we're reading.
I understand.
Just double checking. I nearly sure I made sure it was the King James. It is. It's the King James version we're reading.
Like how could I say something like, to him that overcomes, you are guaranteed the crown of life, but you still may be subject to being stricken from the book of life. That wouldn't make any sense.
It's not what that says.
Because it's a guarantee against being stricken from the book of life.
Yeah.
That's what that crown of life there would be.
Yeah, you short yourself, you get to survive.
Okay, so if a group or all groups are subject to being stricken from the book of life, this doesn't guarantee them. It can't be talking to them. You see?
I understand your point of view.
Okay. Well, it would be self-contradictory, is what I'm saying.
From your point of view, yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know another way to see that.
You do. I just told you one. You just disagree with it.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Let's just move on.
13. I know thy works and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is. And thou holdest fast my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, where Satan dwells. Okay, so I don't know why anyone would argue that when it says Satan dwells here, it's talking about this earth. Because you couldn't be a faithful martyr in hell. That wouldn't make sense.
I would take it from the Christian point of view that they say that Satan dwells on the earth. Yes.
Right.
I can agree that you are now flipping to a standard Christian point of view.
No, sometimes Christians aren't wrong. I'm not flipping to a standard Christian point of view.
Okay, sorry.
They can be right on some things. I'm not against absolutely everything they say. It's just when it doesn't logically follow, I have a problem with it. Or if it's inconsistent within the text, I have a problem with it.
Okay. I'm just poking fun there.
Sometimes I get to agree with them. I actually, probably a good 20% of the time. And yeah, you're right. That is very, very standard idea.
Yeah, but I agree with that.
So I troubled myself once to look up Antipas. This is a feminine. You'd think it might have been a masculine. It's not. This is a woman's name.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was one woman to point out as a faithful martyr, even though Christians don't understand this from the text, that would be Mary.
So Antipas means Mary.
I think Antipas is another way of saying Mary, yes.
That's the first time I've heard you say think and not say it with confirmed definition that you are right. So
I have looked up the definition. There's nothing that I'm admitting this is a correlation. So it's deductive, not inductive, that I'm saying this.
Mm-hmm.
I can't show it conclusively.
This particular thing, you will agree that this is your personal interpretation.
Right.
Thank you.
That's what I think it's saying.
That's good. No, sometimes it's nice to hear you say that because you say an awful lot with very much conviction. So,
right.
This
but
you
I'm
have
personally
less conviction.
persuaded Antipas actually means Mary, that she is the important martyr.
Well, who is the person? Who is the person in the story? You take it as Mary. You looked it up. Who is Antipas?
Well, Antipas has a meaning. It's a Hebrew word that has a meaning. It's used as a feminine name.
And that's it. It's just used as a feminine name.
It's a woman's name.
Do you know what the meaning of the name is?
I do not recall right now.
That's fine. Thank you. That's grand. That's all I was asking.
It's been years since I looked up that word.
No bother. No bother.
Okay. And she is slain among you. Now, Christians wouldn't have a big problem with that normally because they do understand that Mary dies at some point. She's not alive today.
You noticed that you did that?
What's that?
You misread the text. You gave it a feminine. You said she was slain among us.
Yeah. I didn't misread the text. I'm sticking the she in there, but I already admitted it's an assumption.
Oh, yes. But I was just wondering that if you were aware that you deliberately did that, or was it a Freudian slip because
it's not written there.
I know it's not written there, but people
I know it's not written there too.
So deliberate decision to do that.
It was deliberate, yeah.
Thank you. That's all I'm asking.
Okay. I was commenting on it, not reading it. But anyway, that she dies where Satan dwells. That is, the earth is not redeemed from Satan when Mary dies, which totally makes sense, even in a historical view.
We need to get Mac the Human on someday to have a bit of banter with us. I think that would be an interesting stream. But go on ahead.
Nice man, smart man.
Right, so she chat was it
so
verse
I
14?
Say she, yeah.
Verse 14.
What about your voice? I like your voice better.
Oh, right, I can do that. I'm resting my throat there, you know. But I have a few things against thee, because thou hast them that, fuck me, hold the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed unto idols, and to commit fornication. Damn horny fuckers.
Right on. Okay, so
who's Balaam? Is that Baal? Would Balaam be Baal?
What's that? Baal means a god.
Yes, but what I'm asking is Balaam the same god as Baal? As that same...
Balaam is a worshipper of Baal.
Ah, right. So the doctrine of Balaam is talking about Baal.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Or the idea of a false god.
Okay, Balak. Who's Balak?
I'd have to look it up again. It's been years since I looked that one up. I'm sorry.
Right. So I'm taking it that's lower
but
than
it means
Balaam.
Follower. It's going to mean something like a follower of these false doctrines.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it is in reference to the god Baal that is mentioned before in the Bible and in other things.
Well, as I said, the words, I can't remember. Okay, these are all derivatives of the same word.
Yes,
actually.
that's what I'm just making to.
And you can kind of see that.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking. Am I right in what I'm saying?
It means the god of materialism, basically.
Yeah,
and these are all derivatives of that idea.
Yes, it's like saying Yahweh and all these different terms of God. Balak, Balaam, Baal, they're all the same thing.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And that God is the God of physicality.
Yes, I'm just confirming that. That's all I was doing.
Okay, great. All right. And is a stumbling block before the children of Israel. In order to be a child of Israel, you have to be a believer in Yahweh. That's part of the rules of being a child of Israel. So these people believe in Yahweh and are misled. Definitionally, this would be some Jews and Christians.
Right, well, I'm reading this as a few things, blah, 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 blah. Doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel. So these people who believe in other things are causing problems for the true believers.
Right. Making them do what? Eat things sacrificed unto idols and commit fornication. What's that?
They're getting steaks and sex. Fucking right, okay.
Steaks and sex. Well, it'd be great if it was steaks and sex. Especially, a nice grilled medium ribeye. Sounds delicious. But unfortunately, it's not talking about actual food or actual sex. Sorry. It's using things like food and sex to make example of something that actually is spiritual.
Yes,
because this book is not about physical things.
And all that there. We are using these words to put across the idea of evilness and doing naughty things.
Yeah, right. It's using them colloquially in that fashion. To be specific, sacrifices.
I don't know how you can be specific from just that one line. Where did that, how can you be specific?
Because I understand biblically what the word sacrifice means.
To make one thing sacred.
To make a thing sacred.
Sacrifice
That's what
comes
the word
from
holy means.
Sacrifice, the word means to make something sacred.
Right, as in like repentance makes something sacred, and repentance is that.
Can we just have steak and sex?
Well, you can have steak and sex all you want right now. That's fine. It's not against God.
Just checking.
It's just got nothing to do with the topic like people think. But using...
I get the point you're trying to cross. They've used these two examples to explain bad people.
Bad people. No, not...
There's
no good in man, there's also no evil in man. Things that can trick us. Things sacrificed to idols and forms of fornication. But the fornication here referring to a marriage, not to an unwed person. And fornication is to have fornication outside of the wedding. I.e. to be an infidel or using, exemplifying infidelity, which is why Islam calls you an infidel for not honoring God. It's a sexual word, but it's not a sexual situation. It's just using a sexual word for a spiritual situation. And the same thing here with sacrifice. Sacrificing the wrong things, like giving money to a church that supports pedophiles, for instance. That's the wrong kind of sacrifice. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Just as a for instance. So those are the stumbling blocks presented by liars who are into materialism. I can name you a situation like this quite easily.
Prosperity gospel.
What's that?
The prosperity gospel.
Exactly. I was going to say Osteen. Joel Osteen is a perfect example of this.
Yeah, it's yeah. Why? Seriously. I hang around with you too much.
Yeah, Joel Osteen is an example of a Balak who cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel that they might eat things to sacrifice to idols and commit fornication. Perfect.
At least we
That's
are
Joel
on the right
Osteen all
wavelength.
over.
At least we are thinking the same. I don't know if that's a good thing, but
Well, we all know that that's a terrible thing to do to people, to take
Very
advantage
much.
of their faith and their intelligence or lack thereof.
I have
For
seen
your
videos
profit.
of, I can't remember who it was. It was a female leader, and it was during the height of the COVID, and everybody's at home, and they literally said, if you're at home and you've no money at all, don't forget to still send your fucking $100 to the church because we'll help you out. Like,
Wow. Yeah, I heard
now,
about
I
that.
am being paraphrasing and stuff, and there is, but people do understand these videos exist. Like, it's
I have personally not accepted $1. Just so you know.
well,
Yeah, I'm a zealot, and yeah, I'm trying to promote an idea about the Bible, but I've not accepted $1. Not from anybody. I don't need it. I'm able to work.
I can only
so-
say thank you, Richard. That's all I'm going to say is thank you.
Oh, don't do that. That's not what I meant. But moving on. Just moving on. Thank you.
I know.
Just moving on now. And thank you.
I've got a few things against thee.
I've got a few things. Okay, we've done that. We've read that.
So hast
So has
thou
to
also.
also them that hold the doctrine of the Nicolaitanes,
Right.
which thing I hate.
Okay. You said Balak and Balaam is very materialistic god. So then I'm guessing that the Nicolaitans, as have been referred to before, are a different type of god. Are these horny gods? Are these greedy gods? Or what?
No, they're just materialistic and non-spiritual.
So it's basically saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering if a different god liked a different naughty thing.
Now here's the interesting part. The one who's the intended reader being spoken to here is being told to repent of it. Which means he was guilty of it.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a stumbling block before him and was a materialist.
More than likely.
And a worshiper of Balak.
I think we did discuss something very similar to this before in the previous letter, which probably repeats in different ways, about me
Back to
saying
your
that,
first love. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the intended reader here is not without sin.
No, of course not.
I find that interesting. Or else I will come to thee quickly. This is a no threat actually. It just means you're not going to like it. But it's talking about correction. I will fight against them with the sword of my mouth. So the bad people get slaughtered by truth. That's essentially it. Repent, or else I will come unto thee quickly and will fight against them with the sword of my mouth. I will tell, if you don't repent of this on your own, I'm going to correct you. Which ain't so bad, actually.
I sword of my mouth, for whatever reason, is bothering me in the English, and I would like
Pourquoi?
sword of my mouth, sword, right? Separation of
Yeah.
truth and stuff like that. Sword of my
Sure.
mouth. The Christians are also a believer of. I'm not going to say magic words, but there's magic words as
Yes,
well.
they believe in magic words, yeah.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. The mouth and the magic and the sword and the truth. I'd like to have.
Well, if there is magic, it's ideas and spoken words, written words, if there is magic. Because, I mean, I can say something like, Robbie, I love you. You're one of my best friends ever, and you're a fine, fine man and a good dad, by the way.
Okay, I'll start taking off.
And
now.
it
You've
is
earned your
kind of
money.
magical. It is kind of magical how, when that's true, we can make each other feel and lift each other up. And if there's magic, that is magic.
It's nice to be given a shit about.
Yeah.
That's an evolutionary thing too. But
Well, yes. There is social Darwinism to explain
we're
that.
not going
Yes.
to go down that route.
I'd love to talk about social Darwinism. I
We have
see
the
a lot
after
of
party
value
coming
and a
up.
lot of problems.
How long have we got left? We've got another 10 minutes left.
We got 17, just 17, and we're going to stop anyway because we have a change.
Oh, right, yeah, that's what we got. We've only got 10 minutes anyway. But go on. Right.
So here's another one of these promises. Now I want you to notice, I'm not kidding. These promises just keep getting bigger. Would you scroll just a little bit? Because to me, that's slightly. Thank you. Back to 17. He that hath an ear, you recognize that and spoke on it.
Yeah.
Let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. wait a minute. How is one ear going to hear all these letters being sent out to 7 different places? It's because they're not sent anywhere. This is the sending of the letters. What you're reading is the sending of the letters.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. To him that overcome will I give to eat of the hidden manna. What's that?
I think it's a weird way that you put it across, but yes, I understand.
Would you like to paraphrase it for the rest of the brains out there that are not mine?
No, I'm not going to break it down. I've got it. Let's not lose it. Go on.
Okay. I'm just saying Christians are wrong and Christians are wrong. That's all I'm saying. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna. What's this term? This is a pat phrase also. Hidden manna should be capitalized because it's used several times in the Bible. The hidden manna is the quote-unquote meat of the word, not the milk of the word, or the things that are hidden within the Bible. Okay? Right. So this is saying if you are the one who overcomes, you will be given the hidden manna, the truth of the Bible.
Yeah.
Wow. Who's got that? Show me a Christian who has like full comprehension of every bit, even the most hidden parts of the Bible.
I think what you're trying to get to is you want me to scream out that there's no true Christians out there, and this is directly aimed for Jesus to read.
That's what I'm suggesting. This cannot be for the general mass. It makes no sense. How could it be hidden and revealed to these masses? It's not like you can't go on YouTube and watch a Christian talk about it. If they had the truth and they could tell it, they just would.
They do believe that they do. You can't prove them that they don't.
Yeah, but this part of the Bible argues with them. Like the Bible is arguing with them.
I love the way you say the Bible, as if it is
Bible. It's like China. It's called the Chinese because it's in China.
But you said it with authority, right? It's as if it's just that particular thing seemed very non-Richard to put so much faith in the way that you said Bible. It came from the Bible. It's true.
Well, if they're going to say they believe in the Bible, then they should try reading it. That's what I'm saying. Like it's written in their text that they say is flawless and of God. And yet when it says something like that, their brain doesn't go, wait a minute, this can't mean me. And they just, I mean, I've had that thought. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They have not had that thought. Okay. Where was that? 17.
That was 17, yeah. And
the promise just keeps getting bigger. And we'll give him a white stone. White meaning clean, right?
Pure, I'm thinking, yes.
And in the stone, a new name written, which no man knows, saving, except for him that receives it. So he's got a secret name.
Yes, everybody who's saved gets a new name. Paul, Saul.
No.
You talked about a spiritual death earlier and changing your belief system and stuff like that, right? So you are becoming a new person. You have a spiritual death, you become a new person. A new person deserves a new name. A pure name written on
that would be nice.
A pure white stone.
That sounds beautiful. And Islam even does that. When you become Islamic, you adopt an Islamic name typically.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's not a problem. But to say that someone is given a clean stone is something like all of their past sins are forgiven.
Yeah, clean stone, clean slate. That's where you were going, yeah.
Right. And then the new name thing that's only known to him is a secret name.
Yeah.
So when a Christian goes, my name is now Muhammad Ali or whatever, that's fine, but it's not like nobody knows they've claimed this new name. Everybody knows it. It's not a secret name known only to that person.
Right. Now, I'll give you that, right? That once you then start to share it, then it's on the...
It's no longer a secret.
It's no longer a secret.
Because that's how secrets work, yeah.
Yeah. You smart-ass bastard.
I get to rib back a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. But it doesn't say that you're not allowed to tell anyone after that. It doesn't infer that doesn't happen. And what it does lead me to believe is something similar to the Islamic thing, that you take on a new name, your new body, Paul, Saul, and the Christian.
In order for it to be secretive only to that person, there has to be at least a time frame where that's maintained.
Yes.
Okay. We'll agree and stop right there with that.
Yeah, I can say show me it doesn't, and you can say show me where it does.
Right.
But yeah, good point. Good point, Dan.
Okay, so I just want to stop right there with that idea. No one knows except him that receives it for some time, whatever time frame that is. But it can't be like 2 seconds or something. That'd be weird.
Humans are assholes. Everybody thinks it's about themselves. It is very nice of you to assume that this and that you are not worthy enough and that your knowledge, it is very mature of you to admit that you don't know everything.
Oh, I know I'm not worthy. That's not guessing.
Unfortunately, most of the sheeple out there that read this and all aren't of the same caliber, so to speak. And when you make the statement that they will get a new name, they will, and it doesn't say what, right. They're going to take it as everybody is available to get this.
Right.
They're not going to.
They like to think that. Yeah.
Yeah, they like to think that. That.
Well, they're already special in their own minds, being Christian, and then within Christianity, they're special for having picked the right church, which tells the right truth about the right God. So they're super, super, super special. Just ask them; they'll tell you.
Right. Anybody who would like to join, we've got Richard for about a wee while. So I will tag me in the chat. I'll put the link in just before we leave. Tomorrow, I think we've got Canon Wars. We're still trying. Does anybody want to join Canon Wars? We're a team. We're literally a fucking team short. All right, we need 2 more people. Richard, do that tomorrow.
What's Canon Wars?
Canon Wars is this quiz that me and Savage Minnow do once a month. It is a trivia quiz that covers everything from world religions to the King James Bible. We're specific on the King James Bible. We have math questions, we have geography questions, we have cooking questions. It's for shits and giggles. It's not really religious at all, although, as I say, there is.
So I can come on there and be wrong about absolutely everything?
I would love it if you did, because it's the opposite team.
What time is it?
The opposite team.
What time is it? My time. Adjust time for me, because I don't understand how to do that.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock tomorrow.
4 p.m.
4 p.m. I don't get off work until 5:30. That figures.
Yeah. Thursdays is no good for you.
I would have loved to come and embarrass myself against Christianity. That'd be great. But
anybody wants to join the quiz, doesn't matter. We just need 2 people just to come in and answer wrong questions. It's fine. We've even got a cool new scoreboard and everything. I've got a new scoreboard and all, and yeah. Bar quiz for atheists, as Ox describes it.
A what quiz for atheists?
Pub quiz, a bar quiz.
A bar quiz. Pub. Okay. All right, man. I think we should stop right there because that's starting a new letter, and we've about run out of time anyway. What do you think, boss?
Yeah, I've already taken the thing off screen. So I'm going to bounce. We're going to go offline. I'm going to put the link in the chat after we do. So hang about for 2 minutes after it ends. If you want to join an after party and we do have time with Richard, we will do that if we get enough people. So thanks everybody for coming. Canon Wars hopefully tomorrow will be here. Is any of my mods subscribed to Canon Wars? Go and subscribe to the channel. Hold on, let me see if I can find it just before we leave. One of my mods going to beat me to it. It's going to give me some stupid fucking thing. There we go. Find it. Boom, 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 boom. And yes. So there we go. Go and subscribe to that channel. The after party will be on Canon Wars tomorrow, but the show will be here. But we're trying to then move people so that every month when we do the show, it's on the Canon Wars channel, you know. So do subscribe, move across. After party's already up there. And Richard, what have you got going tonight after this after party?
Having our regular Wednesday 6:30 Mountain Time, and whatever BigZebra.com and Mac the Human bring up that has to do with religion and sometimes a few other related topics, I try to answer to them. And I usually don't know in advance what they're going to say.
It's a good show. It's a good, interesting show. It's fun. It is. It's Mac the or Zebra and all. They're very good. Oh.
Except poor Mac has a insomnia problem, but I'm not Mac. Zebra has an insomnia problem and misses a lot of the shows. But he's a great guy, smart guy.
Says you, who we're going a day late.
I'm biased, but I'm allowed to be. It's okay.
Right. on that, the link for this will be, there's Control C, and there's the link. Anybody wants to jump in, have a bit of crack, we'll see you all soon. And yeah, thanks again. Been fun. Think for yourselves, people.
Thank you, Robbie.
What the fuck's the outro? I really should put the outro beside the end of it.
Don't talk about it.
I know, it's fine.
You're on the air. All right. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette and hang out and see if an after show happens. Okay, bro? Feel free to speak out loud, brother. Yeah.
I heard the show, yes. Yes, I heard the show. It was good. I may come back another time and listen again, you know. But either way, it was a pleasure meeting you, dude. Yeah, no, definitely. Either way, I'm going to go have a cigarette. I'll see you later. Keep it up, huh?